Salvete discipuli. In this video, where we are in the course is in the adjective unit, and we just saw the first category of adjectives, which are adjectives of the first and the second declension, and so we saw that they have dictionary forms that look like this. Angustus or relicus and that's short for angustus, angusta, or angustum. And so basically that means that you can take any of our three verb charts that were from the first two declensions, first declension, second declension masculine, or second declension neuter, and you can use any of those endings on these adjectives is basically what that means. And we have some new vocab. So we have angustus which is narrow. Relicus like relics, are the remaining, or it means remaining or the rest of something. So that should be easy to remember because you know what relics are. Tutus means safe. So if a male is safe, he's tutus. If a female is safe, she is tuta. If I see the safe city, then you would say oppidum tutum video. So it would match in case number and gender. Romanus Roman, and Christianus Christian. Now notice too that Romanus this is not the first time we've seen the word Romanus, but what we saw earlier in the book was Romanus Romani, which is the dictionary form for the noun Roman, a Roman person. Who would be male. Romanus you could use the word Romana, Romane, for a female Roman person, but and many of the endings will be the same, right? Many of the endings from Romanus Romani would be the same as some of the endings in Romanus they would go us, o, right, according to the second declension masculine. But sometimes when we see the word Romanus or Romani or Romanum, we have to be careful. Is this being used as a noun, part of Romanus Romani, or is this being used as an adjective to mean a Roman something, part of Romanus So, and the same would go for Christianus and for several other words as well. And so what we're going to look at today is something called the predicate adjectives. Let me make that a little bit clearer. There we go. Adjectives may modify a noun directly, as we have seen in such expressions as in alto flumine, in the deep river. Here, they must be trying to emphasize the deepness of the river because I see that it's before the noun instead of after. I would think of in flumine alto, but if it's the deepness of the river that they're emphasizing, we could put it before in alto flumine, in the deep river. Homo bonus, a good man. So those are both adjectives of quality. They should go after, unless in this case it's emphasizing the deepness. But I'm not really pointing out the position of the adjective before or after. What I'm pointing out is that it's next to, that the two words are consecutive, that they're next to. In the deep river, a good man. So these are called attributive adjectives. And I want to contrast that with something called predicate adjectives. But adjectives may also be linked to their noun by means of a linking verb like sum, which is I am, sum, est, sumus, estis, or sunt, or even the past tense of those, erat or erant, or one of the others. And here are some examples. Deus est bonus. Now, we're not talking about a good God. We're talking about God is good. So now Deus and bonus are not next to each other. There's an est in between, so the noun and their adjective are getting a little further away from each other in the sentence. And in fact, you're going to see they can get really far away in the sentence. But here are a couple others. Leges sunt male. The laws are bad. So we have nominative singular laws, male. Why male? Well, because we have to go back to lex legis, the dictionary form for law, and look at lex, see that it ends in an X to see that it's feminine, right? This is a third declension word, and it's a feminine third declension word. And so when we say that they are bad, we need a bad that's feminine, and bad, malus aum, is a first second declension adjective. And so we need a bad that's feminine, that belongs to that first declension, that has that one of those first declension set of endings, that's plural, and that's nominative. So that's why we have male. Leges sunt male. The laws are bad. And then estis sancti. You are holy. Estis means you guys are. And so we need a holy that is plural. Estis sancti. Now, these are predicate because they are next to each other, but that's because the estis means you are. It only takes one word to say you are. So, of course, these two do end up next to each other. So such adjectives used in this fashion, are called predicate adjectives. The rule of agreement is the same for attributive and predicate adjectives. That means the rules about them having to match in case, number, and gender are the same. And you might think, well, why wouldn't they be the same? Well, that's not always the case in other languages. Certain languages like German, whether we say a good mouse or the mouse is, or he sees a good mouse or something like that, sometimes those adjectives, the rules for those adjectives are a little different. Okay, and so our new vocab is here, and we're going to do 1, 3, and 4 of exercise 88, and I'll probably add in just one more, but I have 3 written down. So the way is narrow. In this exercise, it actually gives you the start, which actually gives you the start, and all we're putting is the adjective, which is kind of nice because then we get to look at the word, know what the word is, and then perhaps see a little quicker what gender it is. And so let's do that. The way is narrow. So the way is via, va. It's a feminine word. It belongs to the first declension. So the first declension. So we're doing I, and it's also giving us, I wrote angust on accident. So, but then I stopped at the ending. So angustus aum is a first second declension adjective. We have a first second declension word. So via est angusta. We're going to actually match perfectly because we have a first declension word with a first declension adjective. First second declension adjective. God is good. Same here. God is good. Deus est. Bonus aum is the dictionary form of good, and as long as we have a first or second declension word with a first or second declension adjective, they're going to match unless we have a word like nauta, which is a masculine word, but it belongs to the first declension. Here, this one's a little different. Camp, the camp was Roman. So remember, camp was one of those words that had a special meaning in the plural. And what was special is that the dictionary form was castra castrorum. It's a second declension neuter word. And so we have castra. The camp is the subject of our sentence. So we want a nominative. We want an adjective that's nominative. So Romanus aun is Roman. And it's a neuter word. So we're going to go with, for Roman, for the Romanus aum, we're going to go with neuter endings. So how do neuter endings go? O, orum, is, is, o, orum, is. So castra erant Romana. We want to use Romana. Now that means the camp, it's a plural, we're plural. And so if we're ever translating the whole sentence, we need to remember that we can't say castra erat. We have to say castra erant because castra is a plural. It means the multiple castrums, although we never say the singular castrum. We always refer to it in the plural. It's kind of like when we say the data were in English. If you hear a scientist talking and you hear them say the data were, data sounds kind of singular, but one piece of information is called a datum, and multiple datums are called data. And so the data were, is what we say. So it's kind of similar to that. And let's throw in the soldiers were Christian. That's number 5. The soldiers were Christian. And soldiers are milites. And for were, we want erant. And Christianus aum, so I'm going to put my stem, Christian. And I'm assuming we have masculine soldiers. They're in the nominative. They are the subject of the sentence. And they are plural. So I want to do us, e, o, o, e. I want the nominative plural from the us, e, o, o song. So milites erant Christiani. The soldiers were Christian. So exercise 88 is actually a pretty quick and easy exercise. All right, you guys should have no problem with that. Valete.